I'll get the center, you guys get on the side mics. We're gonna sing this song. Just kidding. Happy Pride, Jackson! I'm Jared Dobies, I'm the mayor. Appreciate everyone coming out today. Who was here when we packed City Hall for the non-discrimination ordinance? All right, some people still around. Who was here when we had the first Pride Festival 2 years ago? All right. And people saw the raising of the flag downtown, right on Michigan Ave in Jackson. Carl was there at least. Now, I want everyone to turn around and look up at City Hall right now. That's what progress looks like, right? That's what progress looks like when each and every one of us stands for one another, fights for our values, for the type of community that we want to see, one that is vibrant, inclusive, one that values diversity as a strength. And I'm so happy to be your mayor and happy to stand beside each and every one of you in reflecting those values. So thank you so much for the opportunity to serve you. Now, I want to recognize a few people here who are standing with us. We have the council candidate, Laura Beth Stevens, here in the 4th Ward, in a brightly colored Together shirt. Councilwoman Kelsey, who represents this area downtown. And for those who don't know, back in 2017, when we passed the non-discrimination ordinance, it created a little bit of a buzz here in the city. We went through a long process of fighting a referendum on that ordinance, and I was recalled over my support for that ordinance as well. I chose to run for mayor instead of fighting for my city council seat, and the person that replaced me in my city council seat in that recall election was someone who was on the front lines of fighting for the non-discrimination ordinance, Councilwoman Colleen Sullivan.
Thank you so much, Mayor Dobies. Happy 3rd Pride, Jackson! So I represent proudly the 6th Ward here in Jackson, and I am running for re-election in November. It's already been a fabulous week, hasn't it? Whole week this time. So our Pride Center and our volunteers have done an amazing job putting all this together, so how about a hand for them? So today I want to tell you just a little bit about why I am so proud of all of you. We all know that streets in Jackson get closed down, especially downtown, quite often, right? Kind of used to that now. So last night, when I was making notes about what I wanted to say tonight, a local small business owner came up to me and shared a story that really hits at the heart of what I wanted to communicate today. She told me how she was so impressed that someone from the Pride Center showed up at her business with a letter, an apology, and an invitation for dialogue, letting her know that the street was going to be closed down, letting her know why, inviting her to share concerns and to be part of this beautiful celebration here today. And it really stood out to her because as a member of the business community, nobody had done that before. So to me, this is what good neighbors do. Now, when you mention Pride, a lot of us think of drag queens, rainbows, flags, all that really fun stuff that's definitely a part of it. But here, lions, sure. But here's what all of your work over this past year has made me think of when I think of Pride. Education, inclusion, connections, participation, entertainment, unity, family, endurance, strength, lifesavers, and heroes. You have all worked so hard to build community here in Jackson, and it's working. You are part of the new tapestry that we are weaving together. The glittering rainbow fabulous part, of course. But just look around downtown. Since we stood side by side fighting for the NDO and finally saw its passage, the landscape has changed, quite literally. Every day when I stand downtown, I feel the surge of vitality and I see some new simple moment to get excited about. People are moving here, investing here, and celebrating here. So today I want to thank all of you for being part of what's beautiful in Jackson. Thank you for being an essential piece of our momentum, for not taking no for an answer, and for sticking with Jackson in tougher times. Today I'm excited to see the symbol of so much of these sentiments flying proudly atop City Hall for the first time ever. Our city has pride, and I am so grateful to be able to celebrate it here today with all of you. Happy Pride, Jackson, and thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Kelsey, for being here today. And our next speaker is Beth Stevens, who is going to be running for Ward 4.
Hello, good afternoon. I don't know if this is good. Stay in here. My name is Beth Stevens and I'm running for Ward 4 City Council in Jackson. First of all, I would like to thank the Jackson Pride Center for allowing me to speak today in front of all of you beautiful people. Thank you for continuing to educate and bring awareness to our community. My work at the Jackson Interfaith Shelter continues to grow and becomes effective when we are able to partner and support LGBT in all that we do at the shelter. You're guiding us and continuing to provide a place and a platform for inclusion and understanding. For this, many are so grateful. Thursday, during a special feature film series at Michigan Theater put on by Pride Fest, you brought to light the history of the LGBT community and our military. As a veteran, you reminded me that my brothers and sisters in arms have been fighting for personal freedom on and off the battlefield for far too long. Thank you for your service to our country and for standing side by side with each other as we defend freedom and bring our soldiers home safely. You know, when I was in the military, I learned pretty quick that it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. All that matters is that somebody's got your back. Jackson and Jackson Pride Center, I want you to know that I have your back. We need a city that supports equality for all people, regardless of who they love. We need a city that is more than just accepting. We need a city that is encouraging, a city with vibrant communities that support each other. As a mother of 6 children, I strive to teach them there is beauty in everything and everyone. And when one of my babies was to come to me and come out as gay or trans, I would want them to feel as supported and loved as possible as they do in Jackson. This parade, this whole event, is truly a testament to the strength of our community. Today shows us what is good and what is right in Jackson. Let's continue this momentum of community. Continue to share your truth and your stories with others, and continue to be fierce in your pursuit of happiness. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak today.
And now City Council Member Kelsey Hack.
Hey everybody, how are we doing? So I was not prepared to speak, so will y'all hang in there with me while we figure out what the next couple minutes are gonna look like? Cool, for sure. So as Mayor Dobies was mentioning, a couple of years ago, we got into a pretty big fight over a non-discrimination ordinance in the city of Jackson. So as Derek often does, he calls me and asks me to do something that is uncomfortable for me, like for instance speaking in front of a bunch of people when I'm not prepared to do it. Derek knows, because we are friends, that I identify as bisexual. I don't talk about that a lot because, you know, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. So Derek called me and said, hey, you know, if you could come out to this meeting, there's going to be a couple people talking about the non-discrimination ordinance, and, you know, it'll be pretty low-key. Just say a few words about why that would mean something to you in the city. And I was like, all right. And so I immediately had a panic attack and then spent the rest of the day timing myself so that I would stay within that 3-minute time limit while I talked about what I wanted to say. And then I got to the meeting, and there were like 600 or 700 people there or something, I don't know. And we had to move down to the Michigan Theater, and it was like 10:30 by the time I got to speak. And the time limit had been reduced from 3 minutes to 1.5 minutes, so I had no idea if I was going to be in the right time. And so I ended up going up there and just coming out in front of the entire town. And so a couple of years later, being able to speak on stage that Dana Nessel spoke on a couple of minutes ago, seeing the pride flag flying over City Hall, and seeing all of you being so beautiful and loving and encouraging and confident, I want the people who during that NDO fight said that visibility doesn't really matter to feel the way that I feel right now. Because visibility really does matter. And I want to commit to all of you that as long as I hold a seat on City Council, I will see you and you'll see me.
Thank you, all of you. And thank everybody for being here today. The Jackson Pride Center thanks you and hopes you enjoy your whole festival today. Thank you.